This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is your latest Rangers news. There's my dog. Getting in on the action again. Aren't you, Shadow? Say hello to everybody. Hello, he says. There you go. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about what is going on with Rangers. What is the situation? Players linked, old links resurfacing. Puerta gone to Brøndby? Apparently not. Apparently not. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Look, the situation is that we are pretty much waiting. We're in a waiting pattern. We're in a holding pattern until we can actually sell somebody or get somebody out the door. Then realistically, nobody's going to come through the door. It's a revolving door, but a revolving door that works on the basis of one comes in, one goes out. I don't know, a bit like a really dodgy fairground ride. So, I mean, I think that's quite a good analogy for Rangers. It is a real fairground ride. It has its ups, it has its downs, it has its stomach churning moments, and it has its, just pure gut wrenching moments as well, doesn't it? Now, we know that Haji Cantwell won out. We know that the fans want a number of players out as well. Realistically, obviously, we're not going to get rid of all the dead wood in one window. That's not going to happen as much as we might want it to, as much as we would all love to, I think, see the likes of Scott Wright, James Tavernier, Ben Davis all exit the club. Realistically, it's probably not going to happen in this window. It's going to take a good couple of windows, but we'll still be given those windows. I suppose a lot depends on the result on the 1st of September. A lot depends on, how he evolves as a manager of Rangers. I did say on the podcast last night, I do want to start to see some flexibility from him. I think, looking at it as it is at the moment in time, that he may want to play that 4-2-3-1 formation, as I said last night. But you can only play formations that suit the players you've got. And I really don't feel we have got the players to play 4-2-3-1 because of the fact we haven't got a real number 10 at the club. Tom Lawrence isn't it. Well, we have, but we won't play him. Haji, Cantwell won't play them, obviously. So Lowry, obviously not fancy. Tom Lawrence, guy plays walking football. So for me, we haven't got a real 10. So playing 4-2-3-1 will not work in the true essence of that shape of that formation. We do need, obviously, reinforcements, but those reinforcements, like I said, depend on selling players, and we can't force players out the door. As Clement said in his press conference, I can't force players by gunpoint out of the club, especially not in Britain, obviously. America might be a different deal. Who knows? Anyway, look, Rangers are looking at a week where we have a whole week to build up to Ross County, a whole week to get the squad ready for Ross County. Obviously, a lot of looking at how is Ridvan's injury progressing, how is Raskin's injury progressing, how is Cortez's injury progressing, what is the exact situation with Robin Proper. The manager did say that he didn't think it was serious. We do need to wait and see what the situation is with that. We hope that there'll be some good news, obviously, in this coming week. The crowds, look, I don't want to talk crowd sizes. Well, I know Donald Trump loves talking crowd sizes in America. It's one of the hot topics out there, apparently. But the crowd on Saturday was absolutely derisory. It was so small. It was pathetic, wasn't it? But I think Rangers fans had every right to kind of vote with their feet, didn't they? Showing the board that we're not happy with what's going on, showing the board that there is a general level of discontentment, within the fan base. So, look, it happened Tuesday night as well. Clement called on, it's just to bring the noise and to raise the roof. And I think the fans that were there did their very best, but it wasn't full, was it, against Dynamo Kiev, which would never happen at Ibrox. I think again part of it is because of the fact that our fans hate Hampden, and also there's that element there, isn't there, as well, of the fans are fed up with the board. The board are just ruining this club. They're destroying this club. Right, so we know that we've got to sell to buy. So look, I'm going to caveat that with obviously talking about these two links that we've had. That have one that's resurfaced and one new one that seems to have come up that's kind of an old one that's been rehashed. Now, the manager did say post Ridvan's injury that he was not interested in buying a new left back. That would give us 4 left backs, which realistically, once Ridvan's fit, is not really manageable. It might even be that this link is just kind of lazy journalism. I don't know. Or it may be, a sign of the fact that the team are becoming increasingly fed up with Ridvan and his injuries. The fact that he gets fit, can't stay fit, misses a good number of weeks, comes back, takes a number of weeks to get back, gets close to fitness, but then still needs more weeks. I think we all, looked at last season, didn't we? Going into that crucial Old Firm game, the 3-3 at Ibrox. A lot of us thought, that Ridvan was close. We were told he was close, and then they seemingly took him another month for him to come back. So, one of the big concerns about Ridvan is, yes, he is a brilliant player. Yes, he is a very talented left back, but he is always injured. So there's been this link to this left back from Salernitana in Italy, a Croatian. Obviously, we have had a Croatian left back in Borna Barisic. This is the new one. His name is Bradaric. Domagoj Bradaric. He is 24 years old. So again, young, would fit a trading model. He's from Split in Croatia. He's 1.78 meters tall, so just under 6 foot. Left back, left-footed, obviously. He's under contract with Salernitana in Italy until 2026. Now, it's thought that Rangers want to organise a loan for him. That is what the media in Italy are saying, that there is a kind of, it's a loan. That's what that is, not a actual outright purchase. But even though it's a loan, it will still need a player to leave before a player can come in because of the wage situation, the squad size, the fact we still want to lower our wage bill. Clement's made that clear. Bennett's made that clear. I think that's, that's going to be an issue, obviously, for Gillespie if he is the new CEO to address. Now, in terms of Bradaric, he's played for Lille, he's played for Salernitana, he's also played for Hajduk Split in Croatia. That's where he began his career. Now, from Split, where he made 25 appearances for their first team with 2 assists, he then went to Lille in France, where he made 77 appearances with 1 goal and 6 assists. From there, he was transferred to Salernitana for 3.5 million. It's thought that if Salernitana are going to sell Bradaric, they want somewhere in the region of 4.5 million to make a profit on him. He's made 70 appearances for Salernitana with 6 assists. Now, Rangers apparently would want to organise a loan with an option to buy. That is what the Italian media are saying. However, Salernitana are pushing for a loan with an obligation to buy, which is obviously very different, which would obviously, fit in with what Rangers did with Diamande and with Cortez. Sort of an element of Salernitana wanting Rangers to commit to a purchase next summer. That deal would cost us 4.5 million. Bradaric is a left back. He is, very talented. He is talented. He is, good going forward. He's defensively sound. Got a good left foot on him. Obviously comes from the Italian league, which is more defensively minded anyway. So, I mean, in any given normal window, you would say that this is a decent buy, that this would be a decent purchase. My personal opinion is this, that we don't need a left back. We've got Hefte, we've got Robbie Fraser. Ridvan will eventually return. Do we need a left back? Yes, Bradaric can play left wing as well, but he could push Hefte further forward. And Matondo could leave then. There's been those links to Leeds, but Leeds have denied them. We don't know what the situation is. Is this the media putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 because Rangers have got a left back who's injured? He's injury prone. He could return to Turkey, but he won't do in this window because he's not going to sell a player who's going to be injured because no Turkish club are going to buy an injured player. Realistically, I don't think this is a good move. I think, with the fact we're going to have Ridvan until January, we've got Fraser, we've got Hefte. We don't need left back. For me, we need a right back. We haven't got a right back at the club. If Sterling's going to play in midfield, you're stuck with James Tavernier, who is absolute shite. So you don't want him playing right back all season, even though it looks like he will. We need a centre back. We need a 6 desperately. We need a 10 desperately if Clement's going to play 4-2-3-1. We need a winger. We need a striker. For me, there are far, far, far more pressing needs. So if we can get a player out, for me, we should be looking at a 6 or a 10 or a striker or a centre back or a right back. Certainly not a left back. Robbie Fraser can play there. He's very talented. Hefte can play there. He's talented. I don't think we need a left back. Bradaric is a good player, and any other window, had we sold Ridvan or are we ready to move Ridvan on? I'd say, yeah, great signing, go for it. But I just think there are a whole lot more pressing needs. And with the fact that we are, obviously short on money, short on space to bring players in, I think there are much more pressing needs than going to get a left back, as good as Bradaric may be. Now, a name that seems to have come back up and around is Gustavo Puerta. Now, everyone felt that we kind of missed out on Puerta, that it was a dead deal. It was not going to happen because Puerta was heading off to Brøndby in Denmark for 3 million. Now, Puerta is a Bayer Leverkusen player. Bayer Leverkusen, obviously, who won the Bundesliga last year under the leadership of Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso, obviously, who was linked with a number of jobs in the summer, Real Madrid, Liverpool, but chose to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. So obviously, it does remain to say, can he reproduce the form of last season? Now, in terms of Gustavo Puerta, now, Brøndby are ready to spend £3 million on him to bring him to the club. However, it is now been reported in Germany that Leverkusen may not want to sell him at this moment in time and may just want it to be a simple loan. Now, given Rangers' current financial situation, given the fact that we've missed out on the Champions League, it may be that loan option has suddenly become attractive and Rangers are quite happy to go along with Leverkusen's demands for just a loan deal with no obligation to buy, no option to buy. Now, I do have my concerns over just bringing in loan players. You can't get any consistency. You can't really build with just loan players. And then Philippe Clement said that himself, didn't he? That we want to move away from having just loan players. We want to, to have players that actually, are going to be here long term, or at least in the short term, to then be sold on for a profit. I think, we saw with Fabio Silva last season, where Fabio was clearly not going to stay. There was no option to buy in the deal. We clearly couldn't afford him. There was obviously a fallacy in that once it became sort of evident that he wasn't going to stay, that he wasn't needed here, that he kind of dropped off with his performances. And there's always that worry with a lone player. Now, in terms of Gustavo Puerta, he has the fantastic name Gustavo Adolfo Puerta Milano, known as Gustavo Puerta. He's 21 years old. He is a Colombian youth international. He is from La Victoria in Colombia. He's under 6 foot. He is a defensive midfielder. He's listed as a central midfielder there, but his predominant position, as you'll see in a minute, is playing in defensive midfield. He's right-footed. He is that number 6. That sort of number 6 that we desperately need at the club. Now, we all thought that I think this deal was dead, that there was no chance of it, that he was going to Brøndby, that it was all dead and dusted. Now, like I said, it still does very much depend, even though it's a loan, on players leaving, because there are on costs with loans. You've got a signing on fee, a loan fee, wages, etc., etc. So there is that cost there, even though it's a loan. Now, in terms of Gustavo Puerta, like I said, he is a Leverkusen player. He started his career at Bogota. He then went to Leverkusen. He hasn't played a great deal of games for Leverkusen. He went to Nuremberg on loan, didn't play a great deal of games, but didn't play any games there. He can say he's played as central midfielder, attacking midfielder, defensive midfielder. He's played as a right winger. He's even played one game as a centre forward. He's clearly got a flexible hybrid type approach to playing, and maybe that is something that is attractive to Philippe Clement. We all know how Clement likes those players that can play in a number of different positions. Puerta could well fulfill those. The Colombian youth international knows Oscar Cortez. So obviously settling in there wouldn't be as big of an issue. Again, a defensive player. Again, someone who could really add to the team. He's tough. He likes to tackle. Distributes the ball well. Uses the ball well. Would be a quality acquisition. But again, it's all dependent on somebody leaving. I think we all know, as I shared that squad graphic on the podcast last night, we do need to still strengthen. My big worry is come the 1st of September, if that is the squad with perhaps Rice and Lovelace added into it, that squad is nowhere near good enough to challenge Celtic. That squad is not going to take Celtic down to the wire and push them for the league. And look, I know there is need to be a patience there. I know there is a rebuild, alleged rebuild going on. I don't think what we can call at the moment that is happening a rebuild. It's more taking a sticking plaster to a broken leg or a gunshot wound. It doesn't really work. So, look, for me, we do need to strengthen. We do need to bring in players. But with the Champions League debacle, with the disaster there, we do need to obviously sell before we buy. With the fact the board are not willing to commit funds, the fact this board are an absolute embarrassment, I think, there is a need to obviously raise money before we buy. Rangers are in a really delicate position at this moment in time. This could be a season that could be an absolute disaster. or it could be a season where we sneak in under the radar and have great success if we are able to strengthen, but we do need to strengthen. Well, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, please smash that sub. Now, on the way out, 2 tasks. 1, smash the like. And 2, remember always, we are the people.